Hello guys, it's Chastity here. I am coming to you guys to educate you about stretching and how it affects your strength. And I'm getting all this education that we will be posting inside the Facebook group and on our YouTube. I'm getting all this education from different research articles, synopsis of research articles. So if you want the information, let me know. I can point you to it. But let's talk about stretching. Most of us want to be as strong as possible, meaning we want to go through life. We want to be able to pick up our groceries. We want to be able to pick up our children. We want to be able to sit down and stand up, or hold things and sit down and stand up with those things. Those are all indicators of strength. It's not just, I went into the gym, I can deadlift this much, I can shoulder press this much, I can bench press this much. That is really great way to see if you are strong, and if you're getting stronger. You can look at your personal records, see if those are increasing in different movements. But the most important thing is, how does this affect your life? We all are not 20. Most of the clients that I work with are not in their 20s and 30s. They're 40s and above, and primarily 50s, 60s, and 70s. And the reason being, a lot of my clients come from the demographic where my mom is working. I've helped her and a lot of her friends. And I find that demographic has literally done everything possible to lose fat or lose weight and gain it back. They've done all the diets and they're just over it. They're not going to try any more fad things. They want something that's going to work long term, and they actually want the education that's going to be specific to them. So that is why inside our Facebook group, we educate things about like stretching and movement and food and the new research that's coming out, because we don't want you guys to think about those sort of things, or think that you're missing out if you're not doing the fad diets, because nutrition really is not that complicated. We want to educate you about that, how to move in order to get whatever it is you're after. Healthier body, less body weight, less body fat, more muscle. Whatever it is you're going after, most people, that's what they're after. So let's talk about stretching. How does that affect your weightlifting or your strength? Most people believe that they need to stretch before they do a workout, or they need to get warmed up and stretch and then do a workout. And by stretching, most people think of it as leaning over and touching your toes, or stretching your tricep for a specific amount of time and holding it. But there's all different types of stretches. There's dynamic, there's the type where you just hold it. Like, there's types of stretching where you can like stretch and go and complete the stretch over and over again instead of holding it for a period of time. These different kinds of ways of stretching are going to be different on how they affect strength. But overall, when we think about stretching, we think about holding a pattern or holding a stretch for about 30 to like 120 seconds. If you're a yogi, you're going to be holding it a lot longer. But how does this stretching before or after workouts, or whenever we're stretching, affect the ability to add muscle mass to our body and to get stronger? So they examined, in this research, they examined a bunch of different stretching research articles in order to come up with their findings. What they found is stretching does not seem to have a meaningful effect on muscle strength. However, it may lead to a slight decrease if performed over time. So they're kind of finding, and this has been known for a bit, but a lot of you guys might not know it. Stretching actually is not beneficial to gaining strength, but it's not going to hurt you gaining strength at such a high percentage that if you enjoy stretching, most likely it will be beneficial to you because your body feels like it needs it. What does that mean for you? All of this data. So if stretching is something you really enjoy, you can do it safely without worrying about strength gains and getting stronger. Although it may be ideal, if you're trying to get stronger, to separate your lifting sessions from your stretching sessions and not do them before or after, which is completely different than what most people think and what most people are doing. Usually they stretch before their workouts. So what does this mean? One of the big things is that if you are actually really trying to get strong for like athletic performance, you may not want to stretch or do that stretching that you hold for a really long period of time. One of the reasons is, and I mean, it's basically kind of logical. If you're stretching the muscles out and stretching the mechanism that like holds your muscle intact, it's kind of like stretching an elastic band. It's not going to be as stable. But if you keep it tight and taut, then it's going to be more stable to lift heavier weight. Real life example. Most of you guys know I'm a CrossFit Games athlete. So I trained hours and hours a day in order to be as wonderful, great, strong as possible to compete at a very high level. I was top 16th in the world in my division, the 35 to 40-year-old division, in a 2018 games. Before that, I went to regionals 3 times, and I was competing with like the 20 to 40 range people, the younger demographic. I went to regionals on 2 different teams, and I went individually. I was 7th in the region down here in the Southeast, which is really hard to do. The Southeast is a really good region. So I obviously, for CrossFit, you have to be super strong. I needed to get stronger. I am very flexible with a background of gymnastics, and I love to stretch. It makes me feel good to sit in the floor, stretch my hips, stretch my legs. Specifically, most of these studies are about your legs. So it makes me feel good. I enjoy the feeling of stretching, so I naturally do it all the time. What we found, in order to increase my deadlift, in order to increase my clean and jerk, and in order to increase my snatch weight, the clean and jerk, you pick the weight off the floor, and then you put it on your chest, and then you push it overhead. The snatch, you take it from the floor all the way to overhead in one movement. Both of those, all those movements, the deadlift where you just pick it up off the floor, all of those movements got heavier. I could lift up more weight. I was stronger when I took out the stretching that I was doing on my hips. I would stretch for long periods of time before and after workouts. When I was just hanging out with friends, I would stretch my hips. So my hips were not as stable to hold the weight that I needed to pick up and hold. Also, when I was picking weight up off the ground, my hips and my glutes and stuff were not stable enough. And my low back was taking over because my hips weren't stable. They were too loose. I stopped stretching at the recommendation of my coach, Kyle, and then also the owner of Training Think Tank, Max. All of a sudden, I started to get a lot stronger. So all that to say, stretching is not bad. And here's the caveat. I was a high intense, crazy, working out 4 to 6 hours a day. Sometimes I would have off days, yes, but it was like a job in order to get stronger, in order to become more fit. Most of the people I work with, they don't work out at all. They might work out going for a walk. They may do a tiny little workout for 15 to 20 minutes, lift some light dumbbells, light relative to their strength. They might do that at their house. Maybe they go to the gym and use some of the machines for their glutes or, their abs, and they get a little workout in. Nothing is really extreme with most of the people that I work with. I don't work with high intense athletes. Yes, I do have some, but the primary demographic, they're not getting crazy. Here's the thing. All of that, yes, stretching supposedly a little bit might take away from your strength, but if you're not lifting, if you're not going to the gym and lifting heavy weights or doing it to gain strength, then stretching will actually increase your strength. So all those people that are listening to this, make sure if you are not lifting weights that you are adding a strength session to your week or a couple times a week, because that stretching of those muscles and pulling on the bones and actually holding those stretches is going to increase your muscle strength, because you're actually probably going to create microscopic tears in your muscle. And you're not really going to do that when you're doing normal activities, walking, barely lifting little weights, super light stuff. So stretching is going to be beneficial for that demographic. So basically the research is interesting in that it takes away strength when you are really active and you're working out really hard. But if you're not, maybe you should do some stretching a couple times a week. Synopsis, which I basically did that for you guys just now. If you want to be stronger, not only in life, but in the gym, basically it would be good for you to do a stretch session maybe once a week, maybe not before and after your workouts. If you do no working out, none. And realistically, we can think of the yogis of the world. Most of them only do yoga. They become very strong, but they're also super flexible. But they're strong relative to body weight strength. They can lift their body weight. They're not really going to go to the gym and pick up 235 pounds and put it over their head like I was doing. Or they're not going to snatch 180 pounds like I was doing, like really, really heavy weight. They have no need for that. So figure out where you are. And if you can't figure that out and you're not sure how this would affect you, or you're not sure about how food would affect this, because food is what's going to rebuild the muscles in order to create strength. If you don't know how to do any of this or you're confused, send me a direct message. All of our coaches are amazing. We have 5 coaches in the company, a dietitian on staff, and we will create a sustainable plan for you, not only in food, but we can create a workout program for you. If you need anything or if you have questions, let me know. Again, I'm Chastity with the FLA Movement, and I will talk to you guys soon. And if you need something or if you're confused, reach out.